Always enjoy these segments with Gene Pastula. Hello there, Gino. How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
I've been reading from The Atlantic, and they've been talking about the researchers at the Buck Institute. And it says here, researchers at the Buck Institute are all lean. Society's obesity problems are not in evidence there. Everyone takes the stairs. Elevators are viewed as strictly for visitors. If there's a candy machine on the 488-acre grounds, it's well hidden. They go on to say lunch was basically water and a small sandwich with greens, no sides, no soda, no cookies. I don't want to work there, do you?
Yeah, I'm wondering why you're bringing this up when I'm here.
Both of us. Welcome to the show, Gino. What I have been talking about is self-reliance and why it's so critically important. You, as a certified financial planner, help people all the time design retirement plans. And you use non-traditional means in many respects to give people their own personal retirement plan. If life expectancy continues on the way it has for the last 100 years, then people are going to be living several years longer. If just 1 or 2 years, if your life expectancy is extended by 1 or 2 years, with the amount of money you spend, you could be a few $100,000 short right now.
I've already got a tent set up in the backyard just in case I need it.
So let's talk about that. You obviously are in the insurance game, insuring against these kinds of risks. What advice do you have, in particular, to those that can do something about this, millennials and Gen Xers and so forth?
Insurance isn't, the insurance products and solutions that we deal with aren't obviously for everyone, just as the stockbrokers' services aren't for everyone and everything else. In the financial business, it's a matter of being aware of the options and then understanding the options and then matching that to each individual's situation, concerns, desires, etc. But that said, the insurance business is the business of basically, through mathematical and actuarial science, providing the best results for protecting the individual against dying before they had planned on it and before it would be typically expected, or living much longer than they would expect. And so much of everything in between is all conjecture. We invest money in the markets or whatever. We make adjustments if we're really smart. If we're really smart, we have somebody else do it for us. But the whole idea is that is something you have to play the game week by week, month by month, year by year. On the two other opposite ends, though, the living too long or the dying too soon, those can be handled and have been for decades and centuries by insurance products that are mathematically designed. So, as part of an individual's investment strategies, if you're doing it correctly, in my opinion, you incorporate, you understand the products that are available, the annuities that will. I just gave somebody the other day, didn't give them, but set up for an individual the other day, 71-year-old individual who was, they were just fed up with with the fact that if they've got money in the stock market, it's at risk, and the dividends are 2.1%. If they got money in the bank, it's not at risk, and the interest is less than 1%, and they're trying to live on that. We took a portion of their money and invested it with an insurance company that provided an annuity that would pay 6.25% income for as long as they lived. So not only did they increase substantially the amount of income that they could generate from their assets that they had saved, but they eliminated the potential of outliving that income. Go on and on and on. Now, should an individual put all of their money in it? Some should, because they've got they've got such a small amount that they need to get every dime of income out of it. Not all of money, but I mean, some should be held back for emergencies and stuff like that. But essentially, that kind of thing could definitely be, and is for a lot of people, their primary source of income. Just like, well, Social Security, as you know, is an annuity. And a lot of people, that's what they live on, is Social Security and a small little savings account.
You know, this is why it's so important for people to get the straight scoop on this stuff. Now, you run Safe Money Monitor. That's your business, that's your company, that's your website. And you're evaluating safe alternatives for people to put this cash. We learned that there's more cash sitting on the sidelines today than we have seen really since 9/11. People are hoarding cash. Companies are hoarding cash. If you want to get a hold of Gene and learn what to do potentially with your cash, go to safemoneymonitor.com or call him at 800-809-6783. Now, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you were on the program and you talked to me about something, not to change gears totally, because you want to come back to self-reliance and an inheritance, something that's really important to me. Not that I'm going to get one, but I want to leave one. But just
I'd rather get one.
for individuals, business owners in particular, sitting on cash, they don't necessarily need the money. They're afraid. You were talking about something that actually paid 2 or 3 times, as I recall. I could be wrong on that. What the money markets are paying, and it's coming from an insurance company?
Yeah, it's this is not a new concept, but it's one that has kind of regained in popularity over the last several years as interest rate alternatives elsewhere and everything else have kind of dried up. But yeah, if you think about it, a life insurance policy, for Christ's sake, it's just
for what? You just said the
I'm a religious man.
CH word.
Yeah, I'm a religious man.
Sorry about that, folks. I even went to Mass this morning. I'll say a prayer for you later.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Anyway, maybe I should go to Mass with you tomorrow morning.
I'll pick you up.
Anyway, now I forget what I was going to say. No, the insurance contract has a cash value growth that over a 5-year period will generate, I think the one I saw the other day was 3.2%, 3.4%. It varies by age and what have you, but it's particularly attractive to individuals older that are just saving money.
Hold that thought, because when we come back, I want to discuss that 3% over 5 years. And you get some added benefits. You get some tax benefits, you get some death benefits and all that. I'm going to ask Gene about liquidity. Can I get to my money if I need it? And a whole bunch of other questions. And then self-reliance on the other side of the break. How can you build your own personal retirement plan? That's coming up on the Ray Lucia Show. If you want to call, 844-RAY-SHOW. Email's also in a little bit, raylucia.com. Click on the Ask Ray button. We're back in a flash. Don't go away. Hey, welcome back, folks. The Ray program here with Gene Pastula, talking about relying on yourself and not your company or anybody else to support you in your retirement. And Gene is offering certain advice and product advice to individuals that just want to sit on some cash. The problem, Gene, is cash pays squat today. Now, you said before the break, and what intrigued me about this is we talked about, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I actually did some research in the interim. And I looked up and I looked at those little drawings, those little animated cartoons that you sent me and all that. And I found it fascinating that for, let's say you're a business owner and you're sitting on cash, you don't want to invest it in the market, don't really need it for your company. This is a place where you can put money. It's in a life insurance policy, correct? Mm-hmm. So right off the bat, you get, some death benefits, which I'm sure the spouse would certainly appreciate. I've never seen a spouse that wouldn't take the tax-free money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it actually worked out that over a 3 to 5 year period, you ended up with significantly more money than you could get in a bank CD. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, and what's happened is that, and I mentioned in the last segment that this is growing in popularity because over the last few years, it's become more accepted and understood that the current level of low interest rates that we're experiencing are not going to change anytime soon. So, you know, if you're waiting around to move money out of your 0.75% savings account, that would be a CD, I think, a year CD or something, into when they get the higher interest rates, that ain't happening. So when you get something that is going to be able to accumulate money, let's say over a 5-year period at 3.5%, and it's tax deferred at that rate, that becomes a major improvement, and that's what people are seeing. A lot of money is coming out of CDs. The banks sell these, and financial planners. Some of them do. Financial planners don't like to use these all that much as a group. I mean, there are several that are, I think, sophisticated enough that they will, but because it's no longer, quote, money under management. So they like to have your money in places where they can charge a fee for it. That's their business.
Yeah, but if you're only earning, 1.5%, they're charging you 1%, you're not making much.
Yeah. Well, the savings element is most of them will not charge you for that, but they're looking for other options for you, and that's what they're intending to do. Once they put it into something like an insurance contract or a 5-6 year CD, then it's gone as a potential. Point is, though, that these kinds of instruments, for a lot of people, and you talked about the businessman, I see it mostly in older individuals who have money that they want it for an emergency or what have you, but they're hopeful that they won't need it and they want it to pass to their heirs.
How liquid is this money if I put $100,000 in it?
At the end of 1 year, you can get $100,000 back. Before that, it would be like 98.5 or something of that nature. Okay, there's a surrender charge that they put in these things, but by the end of the first year, the surrender charge is pretty much is totally consumed by the interest earned, and then from that point on, the balance goes up every year. And by the time you look at it for in fact, the one I was looking at was at the end of the 5 years, you're over 3.5% as an increase. A lot depends on your age and health and what have you.
For say a 65-year-old that put $100,000 into something like this, there would be a death benefit associated with it. How much?
Yeah, and that would be about $170,000. So that's that's quite a bit. I mean, so in other words, you have the insurance cash, and then you have an element of insurance above that. That the combination of which at your death pays to your heirs.
Now, hang on. Let me ask you a question, because I'm thinking about this in terms of companies.
Right.
I know you're thinking about old fogies like you, but I'm thinking about companies. So I have a partner, let's say. And can I insure that partner, put $100,000 of my cash that's sitting in the bank, I just take it, put it in this insurance policy, name my partner as the insured and me as the beneficiary,
Yes.
Sort of like a key man policy?
Yeah. In most cases, you wouldn't use something like that, because if you really needed a key man policy, your approach would be to figure out what is an appropriate amount to insure that key man, and then commit dollars at the most efficient way. And
but then I'd be inclined to kill him if I got mad at him.
I don't want to be your partner, but I wanted to say, because this is a good segue into something that's really one of my favorite things. These kinds of insurance contracts that will hold your money and provide that leverage, for death. There are a lot of them that will actually, they have a rider in there that says, if you are, particularly for the older people, if you ever need that money, what would you need it for? long-term care is the number one concern
Sure.
of people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Well, that total death benefit will be available totally tax-free to pay for that. And in some cases, it'll double or triple, like double indemnity. So if your 100,000 turns into 170 and you need long-term care, then it could turn into $340,000 of long-term care protection. So there's a whole variety of things that one can accomplish with this, and not always, in fact, in many cases, the money that you commit to it is essentially sitting there to be available back if you need it for some other reason. It sits on your balance sheet. And so that's why I come in here every week and tell people that, that these things, if you have concerns about how you're going to pay for a long-term care or extended health issue, what happens if you live a real long time, like you were talking about in the other segments, and that maybe you are fortunate enough you'll be living into your late 90s or beyond. Will your assets last as long as you do? Or what happens if you pass away suddenly before you're expected to and you have responsibilities? These are all things that insurance policies and products properly designed and presented can address. And when you match it against what your options are, there's no comparison. I mean, they really work well.
They work so well that everybody should take a look at it, because he's got a solution, whether you're young or old, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're healthy or sick. You need to get a hold of Gene.
That sounds like getting married.
Yes, in sickness and in
health,
till death.
You did that really good.
Do us part. Did I tell you about the dream I had about us last night?
Yeah, you did.
Gene and I were scaling, at our age and size, we were scaling the Santa Rosa Mountains trying to get to his house. Then thankfully I woke up, had to go to the bathroom. And that kept us from both falling off the cliff. See, I knew you were coming on. I guess that was psychologically.
It was the anticipation.
Folks, he's such a good guy, you'll have dreams about him. Gene Pastula, Safe Money Monitor. You have to learn about this. If you don't learn about this, if you're an advisor, broker, or whatever, if they're not talking to you about this stuff, then please get them to, or have them call Gene, because he works with 6,000 of them around the country. But the easiest thing to do is go on his website.
Yeah, well,
Safe
actually,
Money
now I
Monitor.
want to tell you about this website, because I want to make a point.
Okay.
Because I think that a lot of people will go on the website and there's not enough body of information on there for you to go on like an encyclopedia and learn everything you need to do.
No, because they need to talk to somebody who
That's right.
understands it.
So what you need to do is send me an email and tell me your problem or what your concerns, or give me a call. In either case, I'll call you and we can just talk about what it is that attracts you to this subject, and then we can. Hey, that's kind of cute. You've got my picture in there. Yeah. And we can talk about it, and I'll tell you if there's anything worth my sending you, because I don't want to spend a lot of time, sending and doing if you're not even a candidate for this kind of thing. I'll tell you right up front, and if there isn't, I forget which way I was going on that, but if there's a possibility that there are something that can be of interest to you that you can help you, bingo, I'll go forward with it. So
bingo is all you need to know. Listen, safemoneymonitor.com. Shoot Gino an email. You can always shoot me an email. I can forward it over to him. 800-809-6783. These are products you need to learn about. We'll be back.